How many times have you regretted not talking to a certain girl? For me, there have been many situations where I've shied away from talking to a gal I was interested in, due to shyness. Then later regretted it. Men, how many times has this happened to you? Too many. It's always fun to realize afterwards that she was showing some interest, you know the feeling when you just want to hit your head against a wall. Repeatedly. Yeah. The what if is worse than rejection. Rejection you get over in a couple days, weeks, or months. But you may be thinking what if for years. So many, until I met the girl who eventually became my wife. No regrets now. But it's ridiculous to think I almost didn't introduce myself to her the night we met. So yeah, I guess, just freaking say hello. Happens up to several times a week. I'd love to have the courage and charisma to get a random date like that. 9/10 times it wouldn't work anyway, but you miss 100% of the chances you don't take. Once. I realized if you don't ask you'll never know. Been rejected countless times though, lol. Happens often to pretty much every guy out there, I reckon. I once read about this 4-second rule which still helps me to this day, and not just in approaching girls. It basically says that when an opportunity to approach a girl opens itself up, you have to walk towards them or send them that text within 4 seconds of the opportunity arising, otherwise your body will immediately shy away after those 4 seconds. If you don't give yourself time to overthink it, then you will get it done. Almost like you've got 4 seconds for the fight response, otherwise it's the flight response. Try it guys, hope it helps. Dude, I have lost count. Sorry, I am a shy dork. Kind of why I hate being a man in regards to dating, and my best success with women is when they made the first move on me. Only once. When I realized it wasn't a police sting. I have forgotten all the other times, but I had the opportunity to talk to my wife when we were 16, and passed it up because I thought she was out of my league. Then again when I was 19, and thought the same. After boosting my confidence a bit, I asked her for coffee when I was 21. Beforehand, I had regretted not striking up a conversation each time. Every fucking time. And here's the deal, I don't even remember 99.999% of the times I've been rejected in the past, but I remember 100% of the times I was too cowardly to at least go introduce myself. Never bothered to count. Too many. Met this girl is 7th grade when she transferred to my middle school, we became friends, thought she was great, but she could never be interested in me, stayed friends through HS, she was varsity cheerleader co-captain, great student, never got into trouble, I'm a long hair metalhead, kind of kid. Senior year comes around, I cut off all my hair, stop doing stupid things, and focus on the future etc. I'll be damned if she didn't have a crush on me for 6 freaking years. She told me after graduation and I moved to the other side of the country. SMH. Probably a couple times a week lol. Once. Family friend's daughter. She's getting married now. Oh well, it is what it is. I am shy and had trouble meeting girls. In my 20s I met a very attractive girl, friend of a friend, at this outdoor concert/party. We hit it off and had great conversation. For some reason I didn't get her number. A few days later I meet another outgoing girl. Not as good looking as girl number 1 but in my league. My friend later tells me girl number 1 liked me. I still don't pursue. I go for girl number 2 and marry her. Endure 20 years with her until divorce. It isn't that I regret so much as the very obvious cues that I was oblivious to at the time. Hey, want to come over to my house and go swimming? Oh no thanks, I don't feel like swimming today. Oh, but we can get changed in my room. That's okay, thanks anyway, I'll never forgive myself LMAO. Had a very pretty girl in the library give me a long smile. I live in a country where women generally avoid eye contact with random men unless they're interested. For some reason I didn't talk to her. I still kick myself. L. All my life since 10th grade, but not because I was attracted to her. She was in my homeroom since 7th grade, and was the target of an incredible amount of bullying. So was I, so you'd think I would have tried to befriend and encourage her, right? Nope, I was too afraid of attracting the bully's attention, so even though I hurt for her and even got angry on her behalf, I never let her know she had an ally, let alone actually stand up for her. She killed herself when we were in 10th grade, and I've never stopped wondering if a few kind words from me could have given her the hope she needed. It's weird how there are always loads of guys online who would love to be approached by a woman. But literally 100% of the time a female friend has approached a man, they've been turned down. And a couple of times they were met with extreme emotional confusion. One guy even left town for a week. And this isn't like they forced themselves on the guy, or that these women looked like Rosie O'Donnell asking out Brad Pitt. I mean sweetly asking, hey, do you want to get coffee/a beer with me sometime? I'm not saying that guys who want to be approached by women are lying, just that maybe it's so rare that I think they sometimes don't know what to do when it does happen. Yeah, I mean I'm pissed at my younger self. I was so shy and afraid of rejection, but now I look back and realize how many opportunities I missed because of it. Classic case of wish I knew then what I know now. No reason to be afraid of rejection, most people are not mean. Maybe like twice. I have no problem shooting my shot. And, I am fairly charismatic and funny. But, I am trashy and ugly, so I would say 90% I strike out or misinterpret something that could have been a good friendship. I have a couple girls ask me why I never asked them out years after the fact, but I just never got the vibe from them. Maybe I am trying too hard to date out of my league. Never. 'Cause the woman I have now, I got a hold of after meeting. We're gonna have a baby, and I'm one happy motherfucker. Bunch of times due to shyness. Eventually I will find out that they liked me as well. I have a hard time reading the signs. Not often. It's been a while. I had a chance to ask someone out who popped into my workplace occasionally, but my nerves got the better of me. My only real regret on that front. Never. I'm reminded of an old quote concerning this topic. It's better not to speak and have people think you are a fool, than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. Sometimes I feel women don't really appreciate you approaching them. They are comfortable giving looks and flirt but don't want anything more than that to happen. __. I've got you all beat. A model-esque girl agrees to come to my apt and watch a movie. Midway she turns out the lights. I decide I'm not going to be that guy and get all creepy in the dark. She gets hot and removes her shirt and bra and little spoons me. I'm not going to that guy and risk a meta situation, so I don't even put my arm on or near her soft body. The movie ends and she gets dressed facing away from me. I walk her to my door and that's that. Thank goodness I played it so slick and now she knows I'm harmless and not that guy. Lying back down in my bed 10 minutes later, ah fuck. This has never happened to me. I must be really ugly or too picky, haha. The regret of not making the move lasts way longer than the sting of rejection. Too often. My problem is I usually regret talking to a girl. I have the courage to do it, but as far as charisma is concerned I'm out here rolling one S. Man, if I could go back in time. I'm 46 now and would tell my teenage self to just go for it. Talk to women, listen to them, compliment them. Look them in the eye and smile. I was so afraid of rejection when I was younger. No need. There are so many great people out there. This has happened too many times to remember. If a girl is showing interest, she's interested. How often are girls going out of their way to talk to your dumbass? Is usually the conversation I have with myself after. This has happened to me so many times. The most recent one, I met this girl on an airplane. I was moving to another country, so I had no real interest in pursuing it after we chatted on our airplane ride. As we exited the aircraft, for some reason I was compelled to ask her name. A few days later my opportunity in the foreign country fell through and I could not stop thinking of the girl. Through clues from our conversation, and knowing her name, I tracked her down. Yes, I stalked her. I called her at work and started to ask her questions to assure it was her. Questions that had answers from our conversation. She giggled, knew who it was before I identified myself, and later told me she had been thinking of me since our last encounter. We now have been together 15 years, married for 12. Carpe diem. All of the times. From age 14 to 19 my self-esteem was too low to put myself out there at all. I didn't believe I was worthy of love, thought anybody who showed interest was simply wrong and would realize it if I did anything about it, and I was ashamed of my own feelings for people. In hindsight I should have just been a dumb teenager. Nobody gives a shit if you ask a nice girl out and she says no. Nobody gives a shit if you say hey wanna go grab an ice cream, and she says she's busy and you take the hint. Nobody gives a shit if you go out with someone for a bit and there's no spark and it just fizzles out. When Facebook rolled out the ability to go back and see your posts from previous years, I went through and deleted almost everything. Goddamn I was lame. Hey I'm at the library with Sarah, she made you cookies you should come by. Gee I fucking wonder why Sarah made me cookies and her friend is telling me to come by. Jesus fucking Christ, who cares if you aren't allowed cookies in the library, just fucking go dumbass. This isn't so much not talking as not taking action, so to speak. A couple years back in college I met this girl in my math class. She was very attractive, incredibly nice, bit of an introvert but extremely intelligent, all qualities I love. I was already talking to another girl at the time and it was pretty clear she wanted us to be exclusive, so for the first several weeks of class I hardly ever made conversation. After a while we seemed to get paired up to work together quite a bit and would eventually walk to and from class and spend a decent amount of time together and stuff. I soon discovered that we had many of the same interests, same tastes in movies, video games, sports teams, and such. We also just had really great chemistry. We matched each other's level of awkward just right. She asked me if I wanted to go to her dorm to study together for nearly every test after our midterm. This never made much sense to me since we both aced every exam, so instead of saying yes I just recommended people that she could study with instead if she needed the extra help. Long story short, the semester came and went, I'm no longer with the other girl anymore, thank goodness, and here I am alone during quarantine. It never occurred to me that she might have invited me to her dorm wanting me to teach her something other than numbers. Never actually. For me I need to have a deepish emotional connection before I think about starting something. I can't really just walk up to a hot girl and ask her to sleep with me, date me, or even dance with me or whatever. Were there girls I saw in passing that were ridiculously good looking then I might have liked? Sure, but when they are gone I forget about them. I can't even remember their face. The most I've done is partner with some hot girl on some activity in class or whatever, but then when we're done kind of thing. I remember recently there was a ridiculously hot girl I worked with, but after working with her, even though she was nice and cool to talk to, I felt nothing beyond her attractiveness, so I didn't do anything. I might be the exception though. I wish I can find the girl that makes everything click, but no luck. Probably will be alone because of this, and I think I'm accepting that. And #X200B, BTW op, you gotta use your handsomeness to do the talking for you if or shy, works for my idiotic but good looking friend, not that I'm saying or an idiot too. I leave that decision to you. Oof. I have a story about that helped me change my mentality. When I was in high school I had a mad crush on this gal which I was friends with but never ever did a move out of shyness and fear of rejection. This lasted at least 5 fucking years. We graduated and kinda lose contact. About 5 years after graduation or so I had moved cities and she was visiting and heard that I was living there, so she called me to hang out. By then I had moved on and had a GF. We had some beers and just talking, and at some point of the night she goes and says, you know, I had a mad crush on you during high school but you never showed interest or made a move, so I could know it was mutual. I wanted to fucking die. 5 years worried about rejection and she felt the same. At that moment I only saw her as a high school friend and I had a GF, but still. That made me realize that I had to learn to be rejected and deal with it, or I would never accomplish the things I wanted. From then on I had taken more risks and obviously have been rejected sometimes, and it's not that bad as I thought. But when the girl actually wants to, it's super rewarding to know that you took the risk and succeeded. TLDR, had a crush during high school. Years after graduation we meet and she tells me she had a crush on me, but though I didn't feel the same. There was this girl I had a crush on throughout middle and high school. I was good friends with her and her circle, female and male friends. I mean, I talked to her, but I didn't bring up the topic. I graduated high school and kept regretting that until December of the same year, when we had a gathering for the whole class. I went up to her and confessed. She declined politely, and that was the end of it. I did regret confessing for the next 2 days. I kept thinking that I ruined what little chance I had. But then I realized how much closer it gave me and how pointless it was to keep trying. All in all, a nice chance to tie up a loose end. TLDR had a crush throughout middle and high school. Confessed months after graduation. Regretted it at first, but I didn't later as it helped me move on.